I still hear the sound of the trash can lid slamming shut, this heavy, final, metallic thud that somehow felt louder than anything else in the room. And when I looked up and saw my mother standing there with her arms crossed, staring down at my 8-year-old daughter like she was something stuck to the bottom of her shoe, I swear my entire chest went cold. Because in that moment, all I could see was my daughter's face, the way her smile collapsed, the way her little shoulders sank, and the way her hands slowly opened and closed like she was trying to hold in her tears, and all my mother said, in that cold, dismissive voice of hers was, "Try again when you're older." She didn't even look sorry. She didn't even blink. She just dumped every single cupcake my daughter spent the entire night baking straight into the trash. So now, I need to ask you, tell me honestly, would you have lost it too? Would you have done what I did next? Because to this day, I still wonder if I went too far, or if it was finally time someone taught my mother a lesson. It didn't start that way, obviously. If anything, the day had actually begun with this soft, warm excitement in the house, the kind that only happens when a kid is genuinely proud of something they made with their own hands. My daughter, Lily, had recently become obsessed with baking videos. I mean obsessed to the point where she would watch tutorials of people piping frosting roses while brushing her teeth. So when she found out we were going to my mother's house for a small family get-together, she practically begged me to let her bake something to bring. "Mom, please, I want to show Grandma what I learned. She thinks I only play games all day." I don't know why that last sentence hit me so hard. Maybe because I used to hear versions of it directed at me. I grew up with a mother who had impossibly high standards, a woman who would scan your efforts like a machine searching for flaws. She was the type who'd walk past a drawing you spent hours on and say, "You made the eyes too big," instead of, "Wow, you worked hard on this." So when Lily looked at me with that hopeful spark, I said yes. Of course I said yes. We spent the entire evening baking together. I let her crack the eggs, even though she got shells in the bowl. I let her mix the batter, even though she splashed half of it on the counter. I let her do the piping, even though her little hands weren't steady, and some of the frosting swirls leaned like drunk tornadoes. But none of that mattered to me. She was glowing the whole time, humming to herself, standing on a kitchen stool like the world's tiniest baker. And when she stepped back and looked at her finished tray 12 chocolate cupcakes with pink buttercream frosting and little edible pearls, she clasped her hands together and whispered, "Grandma, gonna love them." I just smiled and told her she better. I should have known better. The next morning, we packed the cupcakes carefully. Lily insisted on carrying the container herself, holding it like it was a box full of diamonds. She kept glancing at it during the drive, smiling to herself, rehearsing what she would say when she handed them to my mother. "I made these myself. Do you like them?" She even practiced smiling without showing her missing tooth because she was suddenly self-conscious about it. It sounds silly, but watching her try so hard made me want to protect every piece of her. When we walked into my mother's house, Lily was still excited. She ran straight to the dining table and carefully set the cupcake container down. My mother walked in from the kitchen and raised an eyebrow. "What's this?" she said, not curious, not impressed, already irritated. "I made cupcakes for today," Lily said with the widest grin. She opened the lid like she was revealing a masterpiece. My mother stepped closer, peered down, and something shifted in her expression, something cold, something sharp. "Who helped you?" she asked. "Mom did," Lily said, "but I did most of it." My mother hummed in that way she always hummed when she was about to criticize something but wanted to pretend she wasn't doing it. She looked at me, then at Lily, then at the cupcakes, and she picked one up. She didn't ask first, she didn't compliment. She didn't even smile. She just plucked one out of the tray like she was handling something sticky she didn't want to touch. She turned it around in her hand, inspecting it like it was a defective product, and then she did the one thing I'll never forgive. She squeezed it hard, the frosting smeared between her fingers and the cake collapsed. Then she dropped it into the trash can with this careless flick of her wrist. I think both Lily and I froze at the same exact second. I felt my heart stop. Lily's eyes widened like she'd just watched someone stomp on her pet. And my mother didn't stop. She grabbed another cupcake, frowned at it, and dropped it in. Then another, and another. She didn't taste them. She didn't ask how long Lily worked on them. She didn't give a single ounce of kindness. She just threw them away like trash. 12 cupcakes, 12 hours of excitement, gone in 10 seconds. And then she said it, try again when you're older, like Lily had attempted something ridiculous, like she should have been embarrassed for trying. Lily's face crumpled. She made this tiny choked sound that absolutely stabbed me in the chest, and she whispered, I tried really hard. My mother didn't even look at her. She was wiping her fingers with a paper towel, already moving on with her day. That was the moment something in me broke. This wasn't new. My mother had done this to me my whole childhood, minimizing every effort, dismissing every achievement, turning everything into a reminder that I wasn't good enough. She used to toss my drawings into the trash. She once threw out a science project I spent a week on because it was ugly. She told me I'd try again when you're older. So many times the phrase still gives me anxiety, and now she was doing it to my daughter. My sweet 8-year old daughter who had done absolutely nothing wrong except try to share something she was proud of. Before I continue, I have to ask you, the audience, because this is the exact moment I realized I was at a crossroads. You've heard everything up to this point, right? You see the situation I was in. So tell me, what would you have done in my shoes? Would you confront your mother? Would you keep the peace? Or would you finally snap like I did? I want you to pause for a second and comment below, because I really want to know if I overreacted or if this was long overdue. Because I'll be honest, I lost it. I didn't yell immediately, not because I didn't want to, but because I had to make sure Lily wasn't standing there absorbing any more damage. I knelt down, touched her shoulders gently, and said, Sweetie, go wait in the car. I'll be there in a few minutes. She looked confused. Hurt, but she nodded. She walked out with these slow, defeated steps that nearly broke me. As soon as the door closed behind her, I turned to face my mother. What the hell is wrong with you? I asked. She blinked, as if she genuinely didn't understand why I was upset. What? She said. They looked messy. I saved her the embarrassment. I took a step closer. She's 8, I said. She worked all night on those, my mother scoffed. Then she needs thicker skin. The world isn't going to praise her for amateur work. That was it. That line, a recycled version of something she used to say to me. My hands shook. You don't get to decide what's amateur, I said. And you don't get to crush her confidence because your standards are impossible. My mother crossed her arms. Oh, don't be dramatic, she said. Maybe if you hadn't coddled her. I'm done. I cut in. I'm done letting you do this to me, to her, to anyone. She tilted her head like she was amused. Oh, and what exactly do you think you're going to do? I walked straight to the trash can, opened the lid, and pulled the cupcakes out with the paper towel still inside. They were smushed, ruined, and covered in bits of paper, and I held them up. This is what you did, I said. And you think you aren't the problem? She rolled her eyes. Stop being childish. They're just cupcakes. No, I said. They're my daughter's effort, her pride, her joy, and you crushed it. Then I walked past her, threw the entire ruined tray into the sink, and grabbed my bag. We're leaving, and you won't be seeing us for a while. She scoffed again. Oh, please, don't be ridiculous. I opened the door. Try again when you're older, I said, and slammed it behind me. I don't know if that was childish. Maybe it was petty, but for the first time in my life I said something back. For the first time I didn't shrink. Lily was sitting in the car, hugging her backpack, her eyes red. When she saw me, she whispered, "Did Grandma not like them?" I felt my throat tighten. But I didn't lie. I said, "Grandma was wrong. Your cupcakes were beautiful, and I loved them." She looked up. "Really, really," I said, "we're going to bake more today, better ones, and we're going to bring them to people who appreciate your hard work." So we went home, and we baked the most perfect cupcakes I've ever seen. And I made damn sure she knew how proud I was. As for my mother, she called, a lot, not to apologize, of course not, but to scold me for making a scene. I ignored her. Eventually she sent a text saying, "Kids need tough love," to which I wrote back, "There's a difference between tough love and cruelty." We haven't seen her in 3 months. She's told extended family that I'm overreacting, that I'm teaching Lily to be weak, but I've noticed something. Our house feels lighter. Lily isn't nervous before visiting people. She's been baking more, drawing more, expressing herself without fear of being judged. She laughs louder. She's happier. And that tells me everything I need to know. So let me end this by saying, sometimes the people you expect to love your kids the most end up being the ones who hurt them. And sometimes you have to choose your child's emotional safety over keeping the peace with your own parents. I don't regret protecting her, not for a second. If you were on my side, like this video, subscribe for more stories like this one. And don't forget to comment your final thoughts on this whole mess, especially if you think I did the right thing, or if you would have handled it differently. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you all in the next story.